Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to another top 10 list that I'm hoping all my friends out there will make their own version of. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I learned so much from you guys out there who are making these lists. I learned a lot about you, what you like, what you don't like, and more importantly, what influenced you to make you the people that you are. Now, this morning, it's tonight for me, it's tomorrow morning for you guys, the magic of TV. I'm going to start with my honorable mentions, and these are all things that I've seen at least once, sometimes many times, but I don't own, and that's partly because they're so hard to find. Some of them you can find on the Tube of Views and elsewhere, and I'm in the process of trying to add them to my physical media collection. But right off the bat, I'm going to start with something I'm watching. Honestly, for the first time, and I love every second of it. I know it's cheesy, it's corny, it's slow, it's dry, it's boring, but there's something about the style and just the. I'm talking about none other than UFO. The great, I believe it was Jerry Anderson, famous for Thunderbirds and a bunch of other stuff. I love every second of this show. It's goofy, it's dated, but there's so much about the whole aesthetics, the look of it. I wish we would have kept it or grown into it and adopted it, but you're only going to find it on this show. I think it went for 26 episodes, and that was it. And the continuation of it was basically Space 1999, which I did not enjoy. I could barely make it through the first couple of episodes before I just went, yeah, this is not UFO, and not even close. The next one is Space Above and Beyond. I absolutely love this show. I loved it when it was airing. I loved it every time I've watched it. Everything about it. It could have been another one of those great shows that could have gone on for a very long time, but the powers that be said, no, we're not having it. The next honorable mention is, surprisingly enough, another BBC product, none other than Blake 7. Thank you, James L., for finally getting me to watch it. Oh, I love this. It also had a very unique aesthetic look to it. If you've never heard of it, if you've never seen it, it's one of those old-timey 1970s through 1980 British TV shows about space and what it might be like, and it's a lot of fun. It's dark, it's cynical, it's goofy and cheesy, and all that somehow made something that I thought was really special. The last honorable mention, and actually if I owned it, I would put it up there in the top 3, maybe even tied for second or third place, just because it was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen, but yet it was sci-fi, and they did it so well. And if you haven't already guessed that it's Red Dwarf, what are you doing with your life? If you've never seen Red Dwarf, do yourself a favor and try to find it, and then let me know where I can find it at a decent, reasonable price, because it's, for something that was only 4 episodes a season, that's why it's on the honorable mention as opposed to in the regular lineup, because almost everything else here had full seasons, with one exception, I think, where it had at least like 20 episodes. The whole 4 episodes a season really just was an injustice. It could have gone and been a household word, but instead it's one of those cult classics, those sleepers that we don't really hear much about. But that's it for the honorable mentions. Now I'm going to go into the things that Most of the people I know have probably heard of it. There might be a couple in here, maybe, that you've never seen or never heard of. But I'm going to go with one of the first TV shows that I grew up with, that my whole family watched. Everybody I knew watched it. It was literally a household word for, I believe, 10 seasons. And a lot of people really didn't like it later on. But in the beginning, MASH was up there. There's so many great things that it taught us as youngsters and adults as well, and really for me gave me a deep abiding respect for not just the military, but the mobile army surgical hospitals of the Korean War, and all the medics and all those people who stitched our boys back together and got them to go back and do what they needed to do. I absolutely still to this day love this show. Admittedly, later on when Alan Alda, stopped just being an actor and was behind the camera and things like that, it got a little preachy, maybe even too much so. But for me, it still holds its value and was a big part of my personal upbringing. Next is something you probably are going to be surprised that it's even on my list. It was a show that came out when I was about 10 years old. I literally should not have been watching this. My parents didn't watch it. They never watched it. And it was so adult that my parents really should have paid more attention to what I was watching. But it taught me a lot about relationships and humor and the irony of life and just how to parody something as widespread and beloved as soap operas. That's Soap. This is season 1. I've seen it all many times, and it also was a shame that it got canceled too early, but literally one of the funniest things I've ever watched, and definitely something you can watch with your wife, your girlfriend. I don't recommend watching it with your parents or anything like that, because there's some really adult humor in here. A lot of sexual innuendos and just terrible behavior. Every character though was just absolutely amazing, and there's a few characters in here that really influenced me going forward in life. The next one, and it's almost, these are almost in chronological order on the list of how much I liked them and when they came into my life. And even though I don't talk about this much, I watched the heck out of it. I loved this when I was a youngster. I still have a deep abiding appreciation for at least this part of the franchise, and that's Star Trek, the original series. This is season 1 in this weird case. It really pushed me into sci-fi at an early age. It was a regular part of my upbringing. Saturday and Sunday, I think it was 5 o'clock at night, we'd watch it at the dinner table, and my old man was already tired of it when I finally got around to watching it. But I know he watched every one of them. We had our own inside jokes. The hamburger patty, the giant hamburger patty, was one of them. Every time it came on, it's like my dad would be like, please, just not the giant hamburger patty episode. We hated that one. But I love this show. I still love it. It still inspired so many people in so many ways that it's got to be on the list. Next one, I have only seen this twice all the way through. And the first time I didn't even get to see the second season, so I didn't know how bad it was, but I still loved it. The second time around, I just finished watching it last month. That's Buck Rogers. Some of the most beautiful women ever on TV were in this show, and that's probably why I like it so much. But to be fair, Gil Gerard was one of the greatest character heroes in my growing up. He was just the consummate, the perfect hero you could ever want to watch. And back then, I even saw the movie in the theater. I absolutely loved it. Still do. Even season 2. Next, another one I've only seen twice, but the second time around was just absolutely mind-blowing in how well it was done, and what it could have been, what it should have been, and how far and wide it reached. I want to say I saw the movie in the theaters, but people tell me that wasn't really a thing here in the States, but I could swear I saw this in the theater. And if not, I remember reading and seeing the giant 2-page newspaper articles announcing that it was coming on, and oh my god, Battlestar Galactica, absolutely so far up there on my list. We're looking at what? 1, 2, 3. Number 5, solid spot for sci-fi, a solid show. To this day, the Cylons are some of the most iconic bad guys of all time. Wish they would have done more with it. I'm probably going to have to get the Richard Hatch books and read those. I have the comic books, all kinds of stuff. And next we come into something that's a lot more modern. And the first 2 seasons of this, to me, were some of the best written television of all time. I absolutely loved so many of the characters. So much of this was just all these characters and all their stories intertwining in just such an amazing way. Heroes. Absolutely love the show. I can't wait to watch it again. Hopefully I can get the boy to watch it again, because he and I watched it when he was so little. He has absolutely no memory of it. That's how young he was. But this was a great show. Possibly my favorite, superhero TV show. And it's right up there with The Watchmen when it comes to my favorite superhero franchises. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, give it a shot. Maybe just season 1 or 2. Season 3/4, if that was out. I don't remember how far it went. The writer's strike really kind of killed it. But for while it lasted, it was great. And we're getting into the top 4 here, and this is a show that should be no surprise to anybody. But I can't think of a show that really influenced me more than this one growing up. There was so much to it, and in a minute you'll understand why. There were so many episodes and so many individual stories, and 90% of them were just an absolute masterclass in the study of the human condition. That's the Twilight Zone. I absolutely revere this above so many movies and other pieces of literature and media. There are so many great stories here. 156 stories. And if it wasn't for this, we would have never got Planet of the Apes. So, for me, deserves a special place on my shelf. Excuse me, I need a drink. Top 3 time. And I'm pretty sure most of you who know me know what's on it. And this one, I was just talking about it to a friend of mine, and I'm going to give him my other copies of this, because I got the box set, the complete everything there was. Again, this is right there, up there with Heroes, in the way it was so well written, and so many individual stories that all connected and combined to create this just absolute hysterical parody of all the other things I grew up with. The Super Friends, the Herculoids, Johnny Quest, all that stuff. Of course, I can only be talking about the Venture Brothers. I love this show. I could literally watch this every day. I can't even begin to tell you just how complex and well written and hysterical and irreverent, oh my God, the things they make fun of, the pop culture references that these two guys shoved into every second of this show. Amazing. And of course, canceled well before its time. It could have gone on for another couple of years easy, but it was what it was. Next, it's going to disappoint a couple of people and make a couple other people really happy. This is, again, a masterclass in storytelling. One of the absolute best sci-fi stories from the beginning, middle to end. Every part of it leads up to an absolutely stunning story. I often refer to this as the Lord of the Rings in space. That is Babylon 5. Let's see if I can get that without the glare. I went to such great lengths to get this collection. Once upon a time, this was not easy to get. It was very expensive and very hard to find, but definitely one of the best sci-fi TV shows of all time. And you notice there's like no real like fantasy in here, because there just really wasn't. I can't think of a single fantasy TV show that I spent any time on, despite, you know, all my time playing Dungeons and Dragons and other fantasy games. I'm probably really more a sci-fi guy, and this just damn near seals the deal. But number one does that better than all of them. One of the greatest shows of all time. The cast was just absolutely amazing. You could just feel the love and camaraderie between all the actors. Even to this day, they look at this as the height of their careers, and so many of them did so many things before and after this. Just, again, another one of those tragedies. 14 episodes before Fox said, this is too good to be on TV, and we're not gonna keep producing it. And we, the fans, said, fuck you, Fox, we're gonna make it happen. And we got Serenity. But I'm of course talking about Firefly, because it was the best TV show I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of TV shows, maybe not as many as some of you guys, but I'm aware of all the classics, and nothing tops this one. I can't think of anything. I like this even more than most of the movies in my top favorites, and even more than any sci-fi book I've ever read, and I've read hundreds of them. This was better in every way. Thanks. These were all great parts of my life. I'd like to see what top 10 TV shows were part of your life. I hope you guys will play along with this one. We're only going to do a couple more of these top 10s before they become ridiculous, because we're not going to go into food and favorite colors and all the other stupid things that we could talk about. The TV shows, unless you lived in a cave or something, you had to have seen at least one of these. Maybe you saw more. I'd love to hear what you think about them. I know there's going to be some harsh words about a couple of them, but for me personally, they helped make me who I am, and inspired me, especially as a youngster, to go out and do some of the things I did. Still waiting for the flying car. But with that said, I'm going to let you guys get about your morning and go make your own lists. And I expect to see them on my desk by the end of the afternoon. Of course, I'm kidding. But I hope you guys have fun doing this. I did. Brought back a lot of great memories, and put some stuff on my things to do list. Watch them one more time, at least all these this year, and we'll see what next year brings. But that's 10 months away. So until then, folks, have a great day, a great week. We love you, and as always, happy trails.